Hello guys, Rob from thelonewolf.com here. Thank you for tuning in to this latest Dissected episode coming to you from the Tweed Valley in Scotland. For this episode, we're going to be diving into the Highlander by Scottish brand Deviate Cycles. The Highlander is Deviate's second offering, following on from their inaugural guide gearbox bike. Many people loved how that guide performed out on the trail, but Deviate came across some resistance from their customers who were concerned about making the switch to a gearbox setup. So for their second offering, Deviate looked to see what they could bring to the table utilising a conventional derailleur setup. And this is what they came up with: a 29-inch wheeled, high pivot point, quiver killing all-mountain bike. Deviate say this bike is equally at home covering ground on an epic all-mountain ride or a smashing out bike park collapse. Let's find out if this is true. Roll the action. Geometry on the Highlander is modern without forgetting the need for some agility. A 65-degree head angle paired with a 467mm reach on this size large combines with a 75-degree seat angle and a 443mm chainstay to produce a bike that should perform well in a variety of terrains. The Highlander was initially offered as a 140mm travel trail bike, but Deviate has now listened to the requests of some customers who are looking for a slightly heavier hitting package and have spec'd this Highlander with a 150mm travel linkage, including increased progression, which should add to the aggressive riding capabilities of the bike. Deviate offer the Highlander exclusively in the carbon fibre construction as a frame only, so it's down to you to build the bike to your exact specifications. In the UK and Europe, Deviate offer the Highlander as a frame only for £2,599, or with a range of shocks including this Foxflow X2 for £2,999. In America and Canada, you can purchase a Highlander directly from the Deviate website for $3,000 without a shock, or $3,500 with a Foxflow X2, including shipping and taxes. So now that the formalities are out the way, let's take a look at the most interesting part about the Highlander. Why is there an extra cog, and what does it mean out on the trail? The Highlander uses a high pivot point, single pivot rear end, with a linkage below the BB that actuates the shock. The high pivot point means that as the suspension compresses, the rear wheel not only moves up, but also horizontally away from the BB, and this can provide a couple of benefits when out on the trail. Firstly, the rear wheel can potentially get out of the way of obstacles easier. And secondly, as the bike sinks into its travel, the wheelbase extends and provides a stabler platform. This means that the rear end of the Highlander performs better than the 150mm travel number may suggest. The downside of the high pivot is that the chain also has to grow, and that's where the idler pulley comes into play. Fitting this has allowed Deviate to mitigate the chain forces from negatively affecting the suspension and tune the characteristics to their liking. What this means is that the Highlander pedals really well on the ups, but also you get to capture all of that high pivot goodness on the downs. Climbing the Highlander is a fairly pleasant affair, thanks to a relatively steep seat tube angle and a nice and long rear end, putting the rider right in between the wheels. Deviate have given it enough anti-squat to make it comfortable when you're seated climbing or when you're standing, and make it a fairly pleasant machine to lay down some watts. The Highlander really surprised me with how it manages to really eat the bumps up. The high pivot rear end clearly doing a great job of conforming to the trail. The geometry of the Highlander blends kind of agility and stability quite well. You never feel like you're riding on a big boat of a machine, but it sort of feels like the harder you push the bike, the more stable it becomes, and the more it wants from you, which is quite an interesting situation. I'd absolutely love to get more time on the Highlander just to see exactly what it is capable of. Obviously there's going to be an upper limit where you keep on pushing it and you exceed what it's capable of, but for now I'm still yet to find that. So overall, combining the pedal friendly all mountain bike aspect with a bike that's still able to charge on the downs, I think Deviate have really done a stellar job with the Highlander of providing a bike that will suit many riders in many different conditions and trail scenarios. If you'd like to find out more about this Highlander or order one for yourself, then head to the Deviate website. Thank you very much for tuning in to this latest Dissected episode for theloamwolf.com. Hope to catch you out on the trails.